story is one of many thousands, and the world will not suffer if it ends too soon.
Assassin's Creed Revelations is better than Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Yes, I said it. Take me to the guillotine if you want to, but the facts are the facts. Now, I'm not saying Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is bad. If I did, that would contradict everything I said in my Brotherhood video from last week, but Revelations is an upgrade in almost every way, and the key word is almost, because some things in Revelations are piss poor. Not pointing any fingers, but if you actually enjoyed that tower defense self-torture ritual, this might not be the video for you, my friend. But Revelations is the third and final, mainline story of Ezio, and it just tugs on your heartstrings, seeing him grow to the beautiful man he is in this game, as well as the late stages of the life of Altaïr. So let's just get into it.
Desmond Miles, your life has changed so much in so little time. 2 months ago, you were pouring shots for bankers and celebrities, but now look at you. You're an assassin.
Now, the modern day is weird in this game, but actually really unique in some aspects, but I'll get to it later on. But when we get to Ezio, I gotta say again, man, I cannot believe these graphics are from the Xbox 360 PS3 era. Everything just looks so majestic, and it gets me creaming. But you start by following the ghost of Altaïr and doing a leap of faith, which this should have killed Ezio, let's be honest. But overall, this mission is one of the most unique missions in the franchise, simply because it's not clickbait. Everything in this mission is a follow-up to the cinematic trailer, which is very unique. Ubisoft had integrity when making the Ezio games, but this mission is mainly just a warm-up to the real stuff, the real drug, that is Assassin's Creed Revelations. Now, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the cities in this game. My lisp can hardly say the name of this game, but we finally get to the main city and meet Yusuf.
Hoş geldin kardeşim. Unless the legend is a lie, you are the man I long to meet. Renowned master and mentor. Ezio Auditore de la.
Prego.
Forgive me. I have a hard time remembering that Italian gibberish.
Da Firenze, the city where I was born.
Ah, yes. So, by your custom, I would be Yusuf Kazim da Istanbul. I like that.
Yusuf is hands down one of the most underrated characters in the entire franchise. I mean, this guy literally gives Ezio the hook blade.
Ezio, where is your hook blade?
My hook blade.
You've never seen one?
I was more appreciative about Yusuf giving us the hook blade than Mario letting us lay low at Montreal Joni back in AC2. Like, Mario probably only took us in, so we didn't have to hire someone to renovate this piece of junk. But Yusuf actually gave us something that is unique to this game, the hook blade. Now let's call the hook blade for what it is. It's mainly just a substitute from the jump climb thing we learned in Assassin's Creed 2, but it's just so much cooler. The hook blade can literally clamber onto lamps and zip lines. And again, even though Ezio could have just clambered with his hands, the hook blade just looks, feels, and it sounds so much cooler. And Ezio's hands must be getting tired after 50 years of climbing buildings and getting splinters. And Yusuf also introduces us to what basically are the Borgia Towers from Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
This is another of our many dens, taken by Templars, as you can see. Somewhere among this rabble is a Templar captain. Kill him, then climb the tower and light their signal fire. This warns the Templars that it is time to pack up and go.
Bene, you create a distraction. I will send them home.
These are almost identical to the Borgia Towers, and for good reason. The Borgia Towers were a great addition to Brotherhood. They made viewpoints a lot more rewarding, as well as just having some mindless fun content to fool around with, and I really messed with them. But that's not the only thing coming back from Brotherhood. We also have our minions coming back. In Brotherhood, Ezio goes to citizens who've been attacked and says, hey, your life sucks, I know, but if you buy my $50 course in my TikTok bio, you could become an assassin. And then you build up the Assassin Order. In Revelations, however, it's slightly different. The assassins don't need to be built up necessarily, but more so defended and reclaim what is theirs. And you still have the overall system, where you can actually assign them to do things. And Yusuf not only shows us these things, but more.
Don't touch that. One wrong move and bang, the building comes down.
Are you serious?
Look on your face. Here, I'll show you.
These are pretty deadly. They're not as organized or as smooth as Assassin's Creed Unity's bombs, but they get the job done. If the job was done by an alcoholic, but you get to craft them, and there's also more variety to them. Again, I'm not really going to complain about anything in this game that has been improved upon by a game that came out after, so at the end of the day, this system is a plus. But then we start talking about the real business.
Have you ever seen this book?
No. It's a journal?
See.
The Secret Crusade by Niccolo Polo. Marco's father?
I found this on a Templar in Masyaf. It mentions the 5 keys to Altaïr's library. Niccolo brought them here and hid them.
Ah, and the Templars know this, so it's a race against time.
Then more business. But don't forget that Ezio always has his priorities in check. For Ezio, business comes fourth, friends come third, family comes second, and pussy comes first.
Oh, excuse the clutter. I have not had time to tidy up since my trip.
You sailed from Rhodes, no?
See, how did you know?
We were on the same ship. I am Ezio Auditore.
Sophia Sartor. Have we met?
We have now.
But it turned out that pussy and business go hand in hand sometimes, and the Masyaf keys are here. Now the keys by far are the best storyline of the game. I don't really care about the political side of the story. It seemed just more like a world building thing, rather than a story with twists and turns, even though it did have a few, but it's something that we are already used to. But the Altaïr side of Revelations is far better. And I actually find it interesting that in most games, the assassins are on the back burner. In most Assassin's Creed games, we go so far into the hunt against the Templars that we don't really get any storylines with the assassins. We usually just get introduced to the assassins, we put on the assassin drip, and the rest of the game is building on the Templars. But Revelations is more so building on the assassins that we already know, like Altaïr and the ones from his days. And it's so much more than any sort of Templar story in this game. The Templars are here, but most of them are just one-dimensional characters who are just kinda standing in the way of you. But I love the mission structure overall in this game. The Sophia storyline and then the Altaïr storyline, both going back and forth, was great. And the political Templar storyline, even though it's a bit stale, the missions in those are probably the best, but we will get to that later on. But overall I love the mission balance in Revelations. It feels almost like Batman Arkham Knight, where you are circling through multiple storylines, but this is more in a linear way, and some of them do collide with each other.
From what I can tell, I need to find these 3 books first. They may contain clues to locate the rest of these.
Molto curioso.
Another was found beneath Topkapi Palace, but there is still time to reach the others.
Found by whom?
Men who do not read. Sophia, can you decipher this map? Help me find these books.
Can I borrow them when you are finished?
We will work something out.
But the first Altaïr memory is probably the worst. It's not bad, but it feels a bit unnecessary, even though I did love it. I love that it added more to Altaïr's story from Assassin's Creed 1. You meet the old characters from that game, but this mission is kind of just a nod to the people who played AC1, and I respect it. Altaïr also has an entirely new voice. In AC1 he sounded like the most basic white guy from the 21st century. He sounded like he was gonna ask the mentor for the Wi-Fi password. That's how modern day he sounded in AC1. He sounded more modern day than Desmond, but in Revelations, he sounds like he's supposed to. It really fits his character.
You offered him a chance to salvage his dignity. Why?
No man should pass from this world without knowing some kindness.
But he shunned your graces.
As was his right.
Altaïr, I have watched you grow from a boy to a man in so short a time. It fills me with as much sadness as pride. You fit your father's shoes as if they had been tailored to your feet.
I did not know him well as a father. He was an assassin, above all.
You too were born into this order. Do you regret it?
How can I regret the only life I've ever known?
He also looks a lot different from Assassin's Creed 1. In AC1 he looked like Desmond, like they were long lost brothers. I know they were trying to go for the whole bloodline thing, but it's just so incredibly different the way they look. But Ezio always writes to his family, basically telling them, hey, everything is fine, the Templars are nothing to me. P.S. Tell mom she's getting a bit fat. Love Ezio. And then Ezio probably has the most uncomfortable mission ever.
I look ridiculous. I feel ridiculous.
My blade is too conspicuous in this outfit. Are you armed?
C'est le deal. You mark the targets, and we will take them out. You, know how to play that thing?
I learned a few chords when I was young.
When were you ever young?
That's not what I expected Ezio to be doing at this age. This seems like a humiliation ritual by the Illuminati, but at least it's unique. But the most unique part about this mission though, are the songs that Ezio sings.
Before Rodrigo was the Pope, he was
sound like a dying
vices. And once he gained the Holy See, he
What
raised
is this?
Vices prices.
Bear Batson!
Young Cesare, I heard him say, could not be killed by man.
What are you
So I
doing?
tossed him through the air to see where he might land.
Ekala! Go in and bother the guests with that noise.
Ezio was singing about the people that he killed. This is basically where Chicago hip-hop rap started, and no one credits Ezio for it. But overall this mission was unique. But because Ezio is going to meet Sophia again, he can't just show up like this. And not just that, but we get one of the most unrealistic things in Assassin's Creed history.
Mia cara, the strings of fate have drawn us together. Two Italiani, lost and alone in the Orient. Do you not feel the magnetismo?
I feel many things, Messere. Nausea above all.
Is this man bothering you, Sophia?
Excuse me, Messere, but the lady and I are... Oh! Oh, il diavolo in persona! Stay back!
Duccio, a pleasure.
Run, buona donna! Run for your life!
Who was that?
Un cane. He was engaged to my sister many years ago.
And what happened?
His Cazzo was engaged to 6 others.
Believe it or not, that guy has been in more Assassin's Creed games than Connor, Arno, Edward, Bayek, and basically everyone else. That dude has been thirsty for the last 6 decades, and for some reason we keep finding him doing the most down bad things humanly possible. Ezio helps Sophia by literally killing people. This matter with Sophia is not kill worthy at all, so if someone like Ezio is literally gonna kill a bunch of people to get her things back, that pussy gotta be fire. But we go and find another Masyaf key, and things are getting intense.
Altaïr! No!
I must know that he cannot return.
But this is not our way. To burn a man's body is forbidden.
Defiler!
Hear me out. This body could be another one of Al-Mulim's phantoms. I must be certain.
Lies! All your life, you have made a mockery of our creed. You bend the rules to suit your whims, while belittling and humiliating those around you.
Restrain him!
Did you not hear him? Al-Mualim is bewitched.
Ah!
This is actually very Jon Snow, Game of Thrones-like. Altaïr wants to burn the dead body because he needs to make sure that this crazy wizard doesn't come back. But this is against the creed. It's forbidden to do so. Just like how in Game of Thrones, Jon goes against his oath for the safety of others, and now he is the bad guy. So I really like this angle, and I really like how Ezio reacts to all of this at the end.
Altaïr, barely 26 and already a Grandmaster in command of a divided order. How does one cope with such responsibility and unlimited power?
But then we get a tailing mission. Now tailing missions in Assassin's Creed 2 was the real beginning of this concept, or at least the first attempt at it. There wasn't too many tailing missions in AC2, so it is forgivable, but when they were there, it also wasn't too bad. And the reason why they don't feel too bad is because Venice has such cool buildings and is such a unique atmosphere, to the point where I really love the tailing missions because it gave me an excuse to enjoy everything. But Brotherhood is really when they amped up the tailing missions, or the follow people missions. Brotherhood still looks really good, but is nowhere near the Venice level. But in Assassin's Creed Revelations, it's a lot better, because there's not many tailing missions compared to Brotherhood, especially percentage wise, which is good, but also a bit crazy, because in Assassin's Creed 3, and especially Assassin's Creed 4, they made tailing missions a huge mechanic of the game. I mean, Assassin's Creed 4 would have probably been my favorite game of all time if half of the game wasn't just a tailing simulator. Like damn, but at least in Revelations, we don't need to worry about it too much, and it does move the plot forward.
The money stays with me until I have seen the cargo for myself. And the said its quality.
Understood. You are a shrewd man, Manuel.
Trust without cynicism is hollow.
The count is good, Tarek. It's all here.
So, what now?
You will have access to the arsenal. When you are satisfied, the cargo will be delivered to a location of your choosing.
Are your men prepared to travel?
Not a problem.
Polikala, I will have a map drawn up for you within the week.
But we do some really fun tailing missions with this plot, and Sophia gives us another book location, and these missions to retrieve the keys are really starting to get good. But it was only at this time that my dumbass realized that this mission structure is literally the same as those tombs in AC2, where you do a puzzle or a chase, and at the end you get a reward. Now some of you might say that this is lazy, some of you are gonna say that Ubisoft is trying to pull a fast one on us, and they think we're stupid or something, but this actually makes total sense, since in Assassin's Creed 2, Altaïr was the one who made the place for you to find, to unlock his Master Assassin armor, so it would be fitting for him to do the same thing with these plates. Now could have this just been a happy coincidence for Ubisoft? Most likely, but it works perfectly, and I'm not gonna complain. But then we get a really intense scene.
Before I executed your son, I told him you ordered it yourself. He died, believing you had betrayed him.
Altaïr! Altaïr! No! Strength. Altaïr.
Maria.
He is possessed! Kill him! Take the apple! Now!
That was done by that guy to confess to Altaïr. You know, the guy who holds the most powerful weapon in his hand? That's like someone telling Kim Jong-un, it was me who sent the hate messages on Fortnite that one day, while he still had the nuclear codes. But Ezio writes back to his family, and Ezio is writing like a Reddit fanfiction about Sophia.
Excellent news, Claudia. I now have a name. Manuel Paleologos, nephew of the deposed Byzantine Emperor Constantine. I have few doubts that he is the man leading the Templars. My task now is to interrogate a traitorous janissary named Tarek Barletti and find the location of the Templars' army. Until then, Sophia and I will continue our search for the one key that remains hidden. With every passing moment, I know my chances grow slimmer. And yet I cannot help but linger some days to stay an extra hour with her, to hear her voice and watch her face animate with joy as she speaks of the things that move her. Her books, her city, her memories.
But Ezio does another disguise mission. He did this in EC2 near the ending, and he did it in Brotherhood a few times, so another John Cena you can't see me type of mission. But turns out we kinda killed the wrong dude. It wouldn't be the first time, because I personally always thought Vieri was just a misunderstood dude. But Ezio shows that simping is cool. He gets some flowers for Sophia, and I gotta be honest, I think this is my favorite relationship in the entire franchise. We have Bayek's relationship, and that's definitely the most healthiest relationship, or at least semi-healthy. They do love each other, but business gets in the way sometimes. Edward's relationship is far more darker than anything. It's really well written, it tugs on your heartstrings, but it's not really a relationship you want to be in. It's not a relationship that you'll see edits about on TikTok. But Sophia and Ezio, they are made for each other.
Che belli, grazie. I wanted to thank you for letting me play a small role in your adventure.
A small role is enough for this adventure, believe me.
You are a mystery, Ezio Auditore.
Mi dispiace. I do not mean to be.
It is fine. È affascinante.
Sembra squisito.
Why, thank you.
Say what you want, but I think all of Ezio's relationships are far better than Arno and Elise. But Ezio finds another book. This was probably the most unique thing we had to find. And Ezio goes back to his thinking desk, and we see an old Altaïr. He's basically an ancient fossil. He can't really walk, can't really fight. His dick probably doesn't work, and we have a really cool full circle moment. We are back to day one. Turns out even old people hold grudges.
I can never forgive you, Altaïr. The lies you told about my family, my father, the humiliation I suffered.
They were not lies, Abbas. I was 10 years old when your father came to see me. He was in tears, begging to be forgiven for betraying my family. Then he cut his own throat. I watched his life ebb away at my feet. I will never forget that image.
No!
But as Ezio is leaving, he tells Yusuf, there's a baddie 2 streets that way. Make sure she is safe. And spoiler alert, this man felt like there was no tomorrow, but we get a little cool getaway mission for the end of this era, but Ezio goes after the big boy guards. His name is Shakulu or something crazy, and this man puts up a fight. He reminds me a lot of that one dude from Assassin's Creed 4, but Ezio gets the job done, and then goes after the most boring boss in the franchise, and gets the job done there as well. But I gotta be real, the Templars in this game are straight trash, but the story with Sophia and Altaïr were so great that I didn't really care. I thought these missions as well were somewhat of a waste of time, but it's good to see new places in games where you don't have a giant open world to explore. But we go back, and Ezio is wanted everywhere, and our boy is no longer our boy.
Earned your rest, brother. Requiescat in pace.
Brothers, sisters, the whole city rises against us, while Yusuf's murderer waits and watches from the arsenal, laughing. Fight with me, and show him what it means to cross the assassins.
God damn it, Yusuf. I was gone for like 4 minutes, and everything goes downhill, but we fight for like a half an hour, and they're like, hey, give us the keys, and the books, and $20, or we throw Sophia off the top of the building. But we get bamboozled. That was no Sophia, that was Sophie, and Ezio parachutes like a madman to the real one, and we save her. And Ezio was like, my bad. My friends love to play some pranks with me. You know how guys are. And she tanks along with us for a pretty fun mission. It's basically the same as AC2 and Brotherhood, where you get into the horse carriage combat missions, and I love it. And it is unique, since you can Fortnite parachute and kick people off horses and have to avoid hitting buildings. But we fight Ahmed in the air, and I don't really like it, but we get a really cool plot twist.
Selim is not your master! You serve the Sultan! You carry out his command alone! Where is he? Where is the Sultan?
He stands before you, brother. Father made his choice.
Selim! Stop! Please!
And with Sophia, we go to the place where it all started. It's one of the best dialogue scenes in the franchise, since Ezio is actually talking about the Creed and what it means to him. And it's just insane to see how Ezio has grown during all these games. But Ezio was like, hey, just chill here for a second, or go sit over there. I need some me time. And we get Altair's final memory, and afterwards, we get possibly the best scene in Assassin's Creed history.
Another artifact. No. You will stay here. I have seen enough for one life. Desmond?
He's talking to me?
I heard your name once before, Desmond. A long time ago. And now it lingers in my mind, like an image from an old dream. I do not know where you are, or by what means you can hear me. But I know you are listening. I have lived my life as best I could, not knowing its purpose, but drawn forward like a moth to a distant moon. And here at last, I discover a strange truth. But I am only a conduit for a message that eludes my understanding. Who are we, who have been so blessed to share our stories like this? To speak across centuries? Maybe you will answer all the questions I have asked. Maybe you will be the one to make all this suffering worth something in the end. Now, listen.
and the game ends. We get some stuff with Desmond, and the modern day story, from a narrative perspective, is pretty good, but there's not much to actually do here, like the mission design and stuff, but it sets up Assassin's Creed 3 really well. But that's it for Assassin's Creed Revelations. This is easily better than AC Brotherhood, maybe not better than 2, but it's one of those games that I would really recommend. It's one of the best finale games to a character ever, even though we still have Assassin's Creed Embers next. But yeah, that's mainly it for the Ezio trilogy. I made videos on all 3 games. I might make one on Assassin's Creed Embers, but the next one should be Assassin's Creed 3, but I still have to replay it, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna have enough time before AC Red comes out. But either way, more Assassin's Creed content coming out regardless, so make sure to like, subscribe, and peace.